One second, guys. Today, I have to explain some key concepts. Today, I have to explain some key concepts. What do I mean by that? So, today's date is the 1st of May, 2026, or the 1st or the 5th, 2026. Time now is the 11:31 p.m. I'm going to explain something. So, breathing without living is suffering. Living without breathing is suffering. I'm trying to formalize this as a covenant model. As a covenant. So a covenant, so you get Oha, because Obin is a confederation. So you get Oha, which is community law, Iwu, which is no, Oha is community legislation. Iwu is when it's three of us. Iwu is bilateral consensus or law. That's law, and AG is order. Things allowed consensus between Igbo philosophy. So today I'm trying to express that the covenant is the goal. There's gonna be a covenant. So what is a covenant? What is a covenant? A good definition of covenant, because I don't remember what a covenant is by definition. A covenant is an agreement. An agreement. So there was a covenant between her name and never mentioned. What does covenant mean? The word covenant, okay. It's a binding agreement. It's a binding agreement. It's so the goal is to have everything bound to Oha. So we can have legislative documents in order from configuration. So we can have Oha legislation, EU legislation, and EG legislation, but confederation. So law must stem everyone that's outside our own jurisdiction. So people will come in and go, you know. So by expressing this as a binding agreement known as a covenant, we can determine who to let in and who to keep out. But what to keep out, via Oha. So Oha, you're gonna have Oha, Oha of not to discriminate against people. It's just that I'm trying to do this properly. So, so you don't have what is a covenant in law. In law. We have a decentralized distributed model. Covenant laws enforce legal binding restrictions or obligations attached to properties, regulations that use development of neighboring characters as the property values. A covenant is a legal agreement or restriction placed on a property that dictates how land can be used and developed. So I'm thinking it's a legal, yes, it's legal restriction. But I'm expressing this as something more than restriction, because one example of a covenant is a clause. And you can have an anti-discrimination clause in the police law, like the Equality Act 2010, Section 29. Section 29 of the Equality Act is a covenant. And that covenant deals with equality at a larger scale. Because if the police, if I'm disabled and the police don't give me a house, under the Equality of 2010, which is my right to housing, that was managed 2010, the police has failed me. Now, because the police have failed me, they have failed their own system. But because it was law and not a covenant, because it was not a binding agreement between the public law and via Oha and Iwu, which is a covenant. The clauses don't, the system is, doesn't do the job effectively. It can be passed around, and that's what happened to my case because law is bilateral. Law can work with Oha for Oscar, H for hamburger, A for alpha, and Iwu, I for indigo, W for Y, C for umbrella. But Oha and Owu, and Iwu and a G, I for indigo, West, which is Very for Wesley from Bala, and a G, I for Indigo, I for Jam, J for Jam, I for India, which is which stands for order. You're gonna understand um that the covenants make sure that people are not passing them around. So everyone can come to an agreement so we can address issues that affect the most vulnerable people in society. So that's all I have to say to them. So, the covenant is a binding agreement that stems the illustrations. So Oha, O for Oscar, H for hamburger, A for apple is public or community law. Community law, it's community stuff. This is decentralized and distributed. And when it comes to work with Oha, listen, just so the covenant hypothesis is like it has to be bound by some clause of law. So and that clauses are if then else. If then, like it's an if statement. So if Namdi is criminal, if Namdi is autistic and is criminal against, the police has a duty under the clause, which is binding to ensure the council, Revenue Council does the job to house Namdi in Cambridge for his PhD, and it enforces the law because it won't be passed around. That's what the covenant really do. So it's a binding agreement. So that's what I'm trying to do, solve this problem. Thank you for watching this video. Like, share, and subscribe.